Welcome to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Dr. Branch, where we rediscover who we were, embrace who we are, and make room for who we're trying to become. The content of this podcast is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. The information shared, including any materials linked to this podcast, is not a substitute for professional advice, therapy, diagnosis, treatment from a physician, therapist, coach, or other qualified professional. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are my own and do not reflect any of those organizations or affiliations that I may be connected with. This podcast is designed for edutainment purposes, which is the blend of education and entertainment. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Gator Talk. Gator Talk is the post-show Q&A session for the podcast. Every Friday, let's get ready to take the Three Parallels podcast beyond the episode. Join me, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, 12 p.m. Eastern for Gator Talk, our exclusive post-show Q&A session. Kick back, relax, step into the living room, a space for open, laid-back conversations with your hosts, me, Dr. Jason Branch, and fellow listeners. Let's break it all down together, what resonated, what hit home, and what's shifting in your journey from who you were to who you are and who you are becoming. It's real, it's raw, it's Gator Talk. Don't just listen, join the conversation. See you Friday. The Gator Scales Journal. It's game time. The Three Parallels podcast just leveled up with a powerful new resource for your journey and transformation. Introducing the Gator Scales Journal, your personal guide to shifting you from who you were to embracing who you are and to recognize who you are becoming. This isn't just a journal, it's a game changer for your growth, mindset, and evolution. Click the link to order your copy today or check it out on Amazon. Take ownership of your progress and don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Let's get to work, baby Gators. Are you stuck in the trunk of your own car, watching life pass you by? It's time to slide into the driver's seat with a licensed therapist as your co-pilot. Whether it's your first time in therapy, you need a push for growth, or you finally ready to invest in your mental wellness, I got you. With over 20 years of experience, I help people move from who they were to embrace who they are and make room for who they're trying to become. Therapy with me is real, raw, intentional, authentic, and of course, hilarious. Let's break some cycles together, shift your mindset, and unlock your best self. I'm on the passenger side messing with the radio, holding the map up, and we're going wherever you would like to go. Give us a call today at 404-436-2540 or shoot me a text to book your free consultation. Check us out on the web at www.drjbranch.com. Look forward to connecting with you. Have a great day. Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. On today's show, man, we finna go there. We finna go deep. We finna go in the basement. As you all know, for the new listeners, you got to understand the basement. For my regulars, y'all already know what it is. So for all of us, when I come to people, my belief is about a house, okay? And in that house, you got three layers. You got the attic, the living room, and the basement. The attic is where we spend most of our time. The living room is where we are presently. The basement is where we don't go. The basement is where the trauma, drama, the things that happen between you and your mama that we just keep down in that basement. It's dark, it's sticky, it's sweaty. We don't talk about it. We don't deal with it until we deal with it. And I can't heal from anything if I choose not to deal with it. I don't know about myself if I'm not spending time in that basement to remove the things that don't work for me and add the things that do. If I'm able to do that, I can move myself out of the attic and hang out in the living room where I am presently. And in the attic is where my thoughts are, my beliefs are, and I can live there too, but there's no action that happens in the attic. It's just thoughts and beliefs and feelings and emotions and anxiety and everything else that comes with it. But being present, being in the living room is the best place to be because that's where action happens. So now that you know what the things are, I need you to go on this journey with me because I want to share more truth about me. My hope is, hope only got Obama in office. My expectation is that if you're tuning into this show, there's a reason that you were attracted here. Maybe it was for me, maybe it was a guest, maybe it's the idea, the concept. I don't know. I believe that you're listening to this show, this episode, intentionally because there's breadcrumbs all around us. And the breadcrumbs are the things hidden in plain sight. And there's so many things that's hidden in plain sight throughout my life, and I'm sharing with you all. Same with the guests. Everybody's sharing their lived experience. It's stories. So we're telling stories. We're sharing information about ourselves in hopes, I'm sorry, again, with the expectation that you're able to share your story, that you're able to be impacted or influenced by someone else's story. By you recognizing that human beings will always do human things, and no matter how much money we have, our position, title, rank, degrees, you strip all that away. And what do you have? A delicate human. You have a human being. And that's what I want to highlight, human beings doing human things. So that's what this show is about. This episode is about my experience that I struggled to even bring this to your attention and your awareness. And that struggle was because of the old me. And the old me comes from a culture and a community. Don't ask, don't tell. We keep all your secrets in the house. Even the secrets in the house, keep those secrets too. That's where I came from. So we don't talk about our issues, our problems, what's going on behind the scenes, beneath the surface. We don't talk about it. We wear the mask and we wear it well. Many of us do because that's what we were taught and told to do. However, I'm taking the mask off. Why? Because I'm not afraid of whatever belief or idea that I have in mind or had in mind, because that's not me anymore. So the old me wouldn't have never shared what I'm going to share with you today. The current me is still battling. The future me is like, it's time. And that's who I listen to more often than not. Him, capital H-I-M, and he whispers. So her, capital H-E-R, and I ain't talking about the R&B singer singing with the guitar. I'm talking about her. That's who I'm talking about. That's you. So rather, where you were, where you are, where you're becoming, these three versions will always be prominent. They will always be around us if we're paying attention or not. So I say all that to say, buckle up, buttercup. We going on a ride. And this ride has everything to do with us, meaning people. As you notice, I'm on a beach. I'm chilling. The waves are crashing and flying. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you don't see it. You can't hear it. But if you're on YouTube, you see it. You can imagine it. You can imagine me. So let's dive into this concept about the beach and the sandbox. My belief, and this is entitled, I'm entitled to my beliefs just like you're entitled to yours. My belief is there are two worlds we live in more often than not. And I'll speak specifically for this country, right? It's the beach and the sandbox. The beach is vast, it's huge. As you know, an ocean is so large, we can't even calculate it, right? It's so big. The sand, the granules of sand, we can't count all of them. It's endless, and you can go different parts of the country, different parts of the US and be on a beach. It's so much. There's hidden places. There's places and spaces humans haven't even covered yet. We haven't even touched yet. We don't know nothing about. I haven't seen it, haven't done it. That's how vast it is. So that's the beach to me. It's just open, it's there. That's life. And then when you bring humans along, humans decide, yeah, that's a nice beach, but let's put some borders and barriers around it, which is what I call the sandbox. So the sandbox are these rules, beliefs, or ideas or laws that somebody created that's been passed down from generation to generation to generation that we still live by, that may not serve us, but we live by it. And every day you get to decide which world you want to live in. Am I in the sandbox or do I live on a beach? Now you can live on either place and you visit the other. For example, for me, I live on a beach. And every now and then I got to go play in a sandbox in order to get the things I want to get. And that's all of us. You have to be willing and ready to play the game. Here's an example of the game. Corporate America. Ooh, we going there. Many of you know, been there, done that, still doing it. Climbing the ladder, trying to get to the top. And some people get help, some people don't. Some people get it, some people don't. It's a game. It's a system. It's a system that was created by someone or a group of people that's still relevant to this day. Doesn't matter how hard you work, how great you are. Sometimes it depends on who you know. Doesn't matter your credentials, your background. For some people, they have a problem with you and for whatever reason, and you can't move up. You can't elevate or evolve. That corporate life is the same thing as academia. It's a system that's designed for people that don't look like me. I just want to talk about it. Because if you did the research, you would see there's a lot of black or people of color that are not ranked or tenured or don't have promotion. There's a reason for that. Been in the same position for years. That's the beach and the sandbox. Some people are not willing to play the game, so therefore they may get lost in the shuffle. Now, the game is hard to play because we're not giving the rules of the game. And when you don't give rules of the game and you're playing this game, at any point in time, as winners and losers. But I want to challenge you to shift that perspective, moving away from winners or losers of I'm going to win or I'm going to learn. Every entity that you're involved in, there's a system behind it. So I mentioned corporate, I mentioned academia, Target, same deal. You know, is an uproar around Target right now. People boycotting Target because of what they said they was going to do. Then they double down like, nah, we ain't doing that. System, beach and sandbox. So I hope you're understanding the concepts between the two. And one of the biggest beach and sandbox moments that I'm impacted by is within this counseling profession. So I'm going to talk about things that's not really talked about, but I got to talk about it because nobody's talking about it. Example, beach and sandbox. Okay. Again, I live on the beach. I've been out here for a while now. So I've been in the counseling profession for 20 years. 20 years, right? I currently reside in California. I'm not licensed in California, and there's a reason why. So I want to talk about my accolades first. Okay. Not to brag, but just to provide facts and context, right? So been in the game for 20 years, have been teaching in their master's program since 2012. It's 2025. You do the math because I'm not. So I've been doing this for a while. I've been teaching people how to become therapists, right? I'm also a supervisor. I also provide service to help people get licensed. I'm licensed in 4 states, three now: Alabama, Georgia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. I just let Alabama lapse because I'm kind of moving away from that space. So I'm licensed. I was licensed in 4 states, now three. And I can't get licensed in California because I have to take a test in order to get licensed here. Now, to me, that's an example of the sandbox because help me understand. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a PhD too in counselor education, and I'm 6 years in the game. So help me understand with all these facts, all these accolades about me. Oh, I'm a black male too, for those that didn't know. So there's a plethora of clients and potential clients that live in the state of California that I have zero access to. I'm not allowed to work with them, even though there is a need. And the reason I'm not allowed is because of the sandbox. I have to take a test. Now, for those who know me, I am not great at test taking. Never have, never will. Why? Because I don't care that much about tests. Because most tests do not equate to who you are. It gives you an idea, gives you a snapshot, give you some insight, but it doesn't speak to who you are. No test can do that whatsoever. But there's a lot of tests and assessments that's out here that gives you ideas about who you are, where you are, diagnosis, everything else in between. But guess what? That's created by someone who's flawed, who's human, just like all of us. So therefore, there's going to be a lot of discrepancies that may happen within these tests. So this same incident that I'm dealing with in California, I did with the same thing in New York. So I was in New Jersey, got licensed in New Jersey. New York is next door. Went to New York. Hey, I want to get a license over here. And they're like, nope, you got to take tests. You got to do this. You got to do that. Pay extra money. And I'm like, for what? I'm next door doing the same thing. And they like, nope, they ain't our problem. You got to take the test, which is a disservice to helping professionals. It's a disservice to clients because there's rules and laws that someone or something created that does not serve all. It serves some. Because again, the test has nothing to do with the work that we're doing. So I rebelled against the laws with New York and decided, okay, I won't be licensed in New York. No problem. Then I moved to California and had the same mentality, like, oh my goodness, y'all require all this? I'm not gonna be able to do that either. So I decided not to take the test. And then I had to get over myself because in order for me to hang out on the beach in California, literally and figuratively, I got to go through the BS to get to the GS. What is that? Sometimes you got to go through the bullshit to get to the good shit. What's the bullshit? Standardized test, period, point blank. I don't care who you are, where you are, what arena it's in. There is no standardized test that has been proven to prove anything. There's a lot of programs right now getting rid of standardized tests. Why? Because they know how flawed they are. And we live on the beach. This profession is a beach if you allow it to, but many of us are constrained by the barriers. Here's an example. Ethical standards, ACA, American Counseling Association, ethical standards have a lot of standards of best practices, ways of us being. And one of the biggest standards, and everybody knows this is in the profession, is never have sex with your client, no matter what. Once a client, always a client. Don't screw your clients. That's a cardinal rule. Everybody here in the country know that rule. They know, like, it's not illegal. It's unethical. Despite everybody knowing this rule, and it's talked about in every classroom, in every program, there are still therapists out here sleeping with their clients. These are facts. Okay? You might be listening, not even recognizing, man, I've been sleeping with my therapist for years. I didn't know that was a problem. We've been getting it in. I get therapy and therapy. You know what I mean? People don't even know, so you can lose your license, your livelihood over there. But how do you lose it? Somebody has to say something. So you can be out here just in these streets, literally and figuratively, and nobody knows anything. So that's a violation of ethics. Regardless of that fact, it's still a clause related to not having sex with your clients, and it's still talked about because people are still doing it. So let's break this down. Beach and sandbox. The beach is how we do therapy any way that you want to. The sandbox is a strategic process of how we're doing therapy. For example, your theoretical orientation. So the theoretical orientation is the methodology that you use to provide service that was designed or developed by a theorist. All of the theorists that I studied, I can't speak for nobody else, all the theories that I studied were designed by white men or white women. These are facts. Majority of them, not even from the US. Switzerland, Vienna, Germany, they're not even from here. But we're learning from them and integrating it or implementing it into our practice. It does not equate to the reality. Here's an example. Sigmund Freud has never worked with a person of color. On record. It's studied. Never worked with a person of color. Never worked with a black person, period. At all. However, we're learning about psychoanalytic theory to provide services to people that may not look like Freud. Or being a therapist, such as myself, nothing about me looks like Freud. Nothing. And Freud used to do coke. I ain't talking about like Coca-Cola, the real thing. I'm talking about yayo. I'm talking about Scarface coke. Get the yayo, snorting powder. He enjoyed coke. He enjoyed doing cocaine so much so he would give it to his clients. Birthday gifts, Christmas, hey, have a little bit of this. Nobody wants to talk about it though. I'm gonna talk about it because it's factual information. Look it up. Don't trust me. Look it up for yourself. I just want you to see this beach in the sandbox. So throughout this profession, there's contradictions all over the place. Going back to what I mentioned before, sex with your client, don't do it. Somebody, and it's in our ethical standards, somebody in the profession was like, I don't really like this idea of you can't have sex with your client. So can we put a clause in there that give us some options, So ACA, and this is all me. I don't know. This is my belief, okay? You're entitled to do what you want, but look it up for yourself. Somebody said, I'm assuming it's a guy, hey, man, let's do a clause where, let's say, for instance, there's a time period between the time I'm working with this client and beyond that, we can start dating. We can hang out. So somebody got in the room together that decide, hey, let's add a clause. And the clause that was added was, you are allowed to connect, date, hang out, have a sexual relationship with your client after 5 years of termination. After 5 years. So therefore, initially, it was like, never, nope, don't. And then it was like, oh, okay, you can after 5 years. But who's counting? And how do you know it's been 5 years? Where's the clause? Where's the statement? Is there a letter you got to write? Okay, it's been 5 years. Me and client such that we back together. We finna date. We finna get it right. I just want you to see the things that nobody's talking about. Okay. And this is what I mean by the beach and the sandbox. My challenge to everyone listening is, how do I put a foot in both? I'm going to live on the beach, but I'm going to hang out in the sandbox every now and then. Or I'll live in the sandbox and I hang out on the beach every now and then. I do believe in balance. If I'm just going to live in one world, say for instance, sandbox or just the beach, it can be limiting because there's so much I don't know that's on the other side. So I'm sharing this because I'm sure you are inundated with the beach and sandbox in any arena that you're in. Think about church, same deal. There's contradictions everywhere. School, education, corporate, you name it, industries, business, you name it, you're going to see the beach in the sandbox. You're going to see the rules, the laws that somebody created that does not benefit all, that hurts many, and will continue to do so until you decide, I'm going to do something different, which is exactly what I'm doing on this podcast. So, why am I talking about the beach in the sandbox? Because it impacted me as a therapist. I'm still not licensed in California. Let me explain why. So I decided, since I live here, I gotta bite the bullet, regardless of my accolades, regardless of my status, even reaching out to see if I can get a waiver not to take the test, because I'm not great at test taking. And again, it doesn't define my greatness. So I reached out, hey, is there a waiver? Is there any way around this? They're like, nope, you got to take the exam, law and ethics exams to be specific, for the state of California. So studying law and ethics, some of the same concepts, human beings doing human things, and went to sit for the test, not realizing, because I didn't study the format of the test. I just studied the material. So I didn't recognize until I was at the testing center. I'm sorry. I didn't recognize to the end of the test that the test was timed. Why? Beach and sandbox. Why am I being timed to make a decision when there's no time to make any decision like that in reality? None. None whatsoever. So I didn't know this until after the fact. So as I'm taking a test, I get an alert. It's an electronic test. I go in, I get an alert as I'm knocking the test out, killing it, in my opinion. I get an alert that says about 10 minutes left. I got at least 30 questions left, 20 questions left, and I got 10 minutes left. And I just start guessing because once the time was out, that was it. So I didn't pass the test, and not because I didn't know the material. I didn't pass because I ran out of time, which means this system isn't designed to help all, because we're not considering those who may be dyslexic. We're not considering those who read slower, those who process slower, those who have test anxiety and everything else in between. Now, this is a profession that's designed to help people, but it's hurting people. It hurt me. It hurt me. So, and it hurt other clients that they can't have access to me right now. So I'm still seeing clients in other states, but I can't see anybody in California. And there's a lot of people in California like, yo, Jay, when you gonna get this test done? And I didn't pass because of the time. And to me, that's a disservice because that's a sandbox thing. Regardless of what I'm doing, I'm still teaching in a master's program to this day, right now, associate professor, and no love whatsoever. Because it's not about what you can do, it's what you can prove. Can you prove you can take this test? Can you prove you know how to take a test? Because that's what it is. It's not about the work that we do. So it was heartbreaking for me because here we go again with the same systems and issues that I can't do anything about. But you got to go through the BS to get to the GS. So I'll take the test again and learn how to pass it, and move on with my life. But these are important conversations that we have to talk about because it impacts us in all aspects of life, which is the next chapter that we're about to go to. So that's on the external, large scale. Let's go a little bit smaller, bring it home. Okay. So, neurodivergence, new concept, well, new to some, been around forever, but the ways that we think, or we think different, and how our minds work and everything else in between. And as you are learning, you're hearing from guests that's dealing with neurodivergence and ADHD, ADD, just being able to navigate life differently. And we're talking more about it. So for me, I have been told my whole life, man, I think you got ADHD. You need to take Ritalin. All the aunties told me that growing up. My mom and them, everybody. Yeah, I think you got ADHD, but we're not doing anything about it. Just think you got it because we can't afford to have this person around here slobbering at the mouth on Ritalin, because that's what it was. People of color, specifically black folks, was being overdiagnosed and overly medicated. And everybody knew it, but nobody cared enough to do anything because we weren't in a position of power to do something. So that painted a picture for many marginalized communities who were overly medicated, overly diagnosed, and trying to function daily. So fortunately, that wasn't my case. However, that's the case for so many other people. And those children become adults. And those adults become parents, and you know how the story goes. So for me, the struggle is figuring out who I am, right? But before I can figure out who I am, I have to figure out what am I doing? Where am I going? So these experiences that I had with the profession led me to experiences that I had personally. So, as everyone knows, or for those who don't know, there's a thing called counseling karma. And counseling karma is anything you're running away from, anything you don't want to deal with, anything you haven't dealt with yet that's in that basement is usually going to find you. So if you have some issues with dad, mom issues, ex you haven't gotten over yet, you're going to come in contact with a client that gives you an opportunity to deal with that stuff you never dealt with. There may be a client that you work with that reminds you of your dad or an ex or certain things that brings you to a certain place. That's an opportunity to learn and grow. So for me, what happened was I started connecting with so many clients who are adults dealing with ADHD, which opened my mind to, whoa, wait a minute. As an adult, do I have ADHD? Oh no, but just like the culture and community, I ain't finna find out. Not finna find. I'll be all right. I'm good. I've been doing this. I'm living this way my whole life. And then I'm meeting with clients, and it's a constant thing of like, wait a minute, what is this ADHD thing, and why does it keep coming up, especially for me? And it wasn't until I was working with this particular client who's been living his best life for years and decided to go into another endeavor and decide to go to professional school, working on an MD in professional school, right? So he shares with me, and we've been working together for years, and he shares with me, since I started this new journey in professional school, I recognize that I'm not thinking like everybody else. I'm not moving like everybody else. And I decided to go get tested for ADHD. And I took a test and I passed. He shared with me he was diagnosed with adult ADHD, and it shook me because it shook him, and he was in the middle of it. But it was an indicator for me of maybe I should go get tested. Now, mind you, 20 years in the game, I'm a therapist. I have a therapist. I've never been tested for ADHD. And it was at that moment where I began to think about maybe I need to get tested too. Because how are these breadcrumbs landing around me and it doesn't impact me or affect me? Like there's something connected to this. So I decided from that conversation, I need to start doing more research and learn more about ADHD because it's not a area that I spent a lot of time and research in, but I decided to because of this particular client. Now, there's other clients, there's other things I've been surrounded by related to ADHD, and it just kept building and building and building until I had to face me. And facing me was, I think it's time to get tested. So I decided I'm gonna go get tested, see what's going on with your boy. Grown ass man decided to go see a psychiatrist to get tested for ADHD. And when I got tested, I passed as well. I was diagnosed with adult ADHD combined type. This happened in April. It was actually 421 because they asked me, it's 420. Were you using any substances? Because we need to know before we prescribe you any medication. Beach and Sandbox. So when I got diagnosed, it was shocking. It hit me to my core. Like, man, this whole time I'm out here in these ADHD streets, undiagnosed, untreated, unmedicated, just raw dogging life and doing well at it. No idea until now. And now that I knew, I was hit with a ton of bricks, just like my client was. I felt exactly what he felt like, in disbelief this whole time. And then I started having feelings like my parents, they didn't do this and testing and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't do that. And then it's like, how did I live life this way? And what about this? What about that? So I had all these thoughts and beliefs. And then the reality hit of how things happen is how it was supposed to happen. And that's okay. I'm good. I've managed 43 years without anything. Again, raw dog in life, seeing a therapist. But that was it. And not knowing this information about myself. Now that I know, and I just found out, I've been diving into research around it, and I've been tracking people that connects to this diagnosis, which is just the diagnosis. It's a part of me. It's not who I am. I'm not defined by this new diagnosis, especially if I've been out here without it for all this time. But it's an area in my life now that I get to learn about. It's a basement thing that I get to kind of unpack, and I'm gonna do it with you. So I'm sharing this beach and sandbox identity or mentality to help you because you may be doing the same thing. You may be dealing with ADHD or whatever, mental health diagnosis, anything, and may not know anything about it, but the breadcrumbs have been landing around you. And now is your time to take advantage of the opportunity because that's exactly what I did. So for me, having new information and insight about a new diagnosis gives me an opportunity to learn about myself. And there was a podcast that I listened to that talked about it. Trevor Noah is somebody who also talks about ADHD and high achiever and this and that. And I just started diving into research around it. And one guy mentioned that he described ADHD to being your mind is different than everybody else's. And what that looks like is your mind is like a Ferrari. You know, you got a Ferrari. So if you're like a Ferrari, you want to go fast, you want to move fast, you think quick. And it's like, that's been me my whole life. However, if I'm thinking fast, moving quickly, but I'm making short trips or short stops, that can dysregulate. That can cause a lot of issues. So therefore, I got to be mindful with what I put my energy towards, when, where, how, why, the whole nine. But if you don't know that, you just out here with a Ferrari, no driver's license, never drove it before, and you just speeding. And you can have a lot of accidents that way. And and many of us have. But when you know how to drive the Ferrari, you practice driving, you know what works and what doesn't work, you can navigate life very differently. And that's where I'm at right now, navigating life very differently. So I wanted to share with you first that this is a part of my life and I'm choosing to share it with you because authenticity and transparency is very important to me. And my belief is if I share my journey and my story with you, it will impact you to do something for yourself or for somebody else. Now that I know, I feel empowered, I feel encouraged, I feel inspired because there's a whole nother arena I know nothing about related to myself. Imagine what you may be struggling with and have no idea about. My challenge to you is begin taking that lock off of that basement door, going down those stairs. There's a chair at the bottom of the stairs and there's a light pointing down. It's like an interrogation light. And that's the moment when you can begin having conversations with yourself, your old self, your current self, your future self. So these next couple episodes that you're going to hear from different people, places, and things will give you information and insight about how different we all are. However, we're still human. That's the core. So the beach and sandbox concept, you'll see it more and more now that we've talked about it, now that you've discovered it. So I want to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and discover more about yourself. This is part one. Part two coming up to talk about the journey of how I got here. So I just gave you the story, like, yeah, I'm here, got diagnosed, but I got to tell you the journey. And the journey relates to advocacy because I had to advocate for myself just to get a diagnosis. Why? Because of the barriers and the sandbox of this profession that helps and hurts a lot of people. I just want to talk about it. This has been another episode of the Three Parallels Podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. If this podcast has been a blessing to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, share it. Give it away. You think you got ADHD? You know somebody that may have it? Send them this episode. I'm a black male therapist who's an adult, been out here adulting forever without being treated or diagnosed with ADHD. Now I got diagnosed as of April 21st at 43 years old. And man, I had no idea. So a few of these guests that's coming up are going to share their experiences and their truth. Again, I just want you all to take this information and do something with it. Don't keep this to yourself. Give it away. Go get tested from ADHD to HIV to STDs. Go get tested. Have a great day.